Oh, Mr. Harkin, this is not your boat, but I wanted to show you this boat had the same problem as your boat has, and that was up here in front. Let me back out just a little bit with the rub rails. It had the same problem on both sides, and that's a pretty common problem. It's a pretty common problem on all of the boats from that era. Oh, this one I happened to be walking by. There's what's called a shelf board right here underneath the decks and underneath the covering board, and the top plank attaches to it. This is the construction. This is a Riviera. So the construction on this one is the same as the construction on the Capri. And actually, you might be a Riv. Off the top of my head, I don't know which. But anyhow, I guess you're a Riviera. So these shelf boards rot out up here. They're especially bad on the Capris that were built from 55 to 58. But that also happens on the Rivieras. So that's what's happened here. You've got some rot of your shelf board going on back here. Hopefully it's not too severe. And what we can do is we can cut the rot out, and then we can put in, wow, this is even pulled, it's even broken your top plank, but we can get it we can get that put together. So, but we'll take this off, take this rub rail off back a little ways. Make sure you got good solid stuff behind here to attach to, and then we can attach that. The other thing I noticed is that the varnish, if you look at the varnish in this reflection of the varnish here, right here, reflection of the light in the varnish, you'll see that it looks like there's little spider webs that, you know, maybe there was a spider there and someone pushed the spider web down against the varnish. Well, that varnish is beginning to fail. Actually, it's failing. These are little microscopic cracks. Water is going to infiltrate in through there, and the very next step is that the varnish is going to start to peel. So what we want to do, what you need to do is do maintenance coats, at least on the decks. You wouldn't necessarily have to do it on the sides, but maintenance coats on the decks in order to try to extend the life of your varnish. Because if you get to the point where it starts to peel, you pretty much have to do a strip and refinish to straighten it out. We got some dock rash here that we can fix with maintenance coats. So I'm going to suggest that we do maintenance coats on the decks. I'd also suggest that we refresh your bottom paint with some more copper bronze. That's a pretty cheap. That's not terribly expensive to do. We've got some bungs popping back here. Seems like I've done this video before. maybe I did the video, didn't send it. I don't know. But we got some bungs popping back here. This screw is releasing. That's what's pushed your bungs out. This bung is probably quite thin up here, but it isn't coming out yet. So, but there's got to be a screw back here behind this that is working its way out. Sometimes these bungs get so thin that there's just not enough surface area, surface of the bung to the surface of the hole for the glue to hold. But so this really needs to, your decks need to be refastened. I will put, well, at least the center part of your decks. It looks like the rest of your decks are okay, but the center probably ought to strip strip, refasten, rebung the center section, and I believe your engine hatch as well. Boy, this really is sounding familiar. I think I've done the video and maybe I just didn't send it to you, or maybe I did the video, sent it to you and just didn't send you an estimate about it yet, because I realized today I haven't done an estimate yet. But it looks like the blonde in the center also needs some tender loving care. That is going to need, this will also need stripped and refinished. But the blonde up here, I'm actually looking in my screen on my phone The blonde up here seems to be in much better condition. So so I think we're pretty good on that. I'm just gonna look and see. 18 R 787. I'll look up that and make sure, but yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Riviera. Yeah, it would be if it was Capri, it'd be a CP. So yeah, this is a Riviera. Gauges look great. The interior is certainly serviceable. It's probably not the interior that came in the boat. Seems like we ordered a package where I can tell you definitively whether or not it is the same or a replica of what came in the boat. Well, I'll take care of that. I'll look at that. We can take care of these kinds of problems with maintenance coats to the decks. The sides look pretty decent. We can do maintenance coats on the sides as well, you know, but right now they don't look like they have to be done. This is plastic. This scratch right here is actually not a scratch. It's a deposit of plastic. You see where that plastic is, if I get the right light right, where there's a flat spot on, there's several flat spots on this plastic. That's where that plastic is rubbed up against the hull of your boat. So these need to be lengthened so that here's a flat spot there, a little flat spot right here, and what's happening is this is what's rubbing off of that plastic cap. So that can be buffed out. That can be left alone for right now. That can be buffed out. You've got a little bit of a scratch here. I would recommend also a bow stop. That's the goalpost style. Let me show you one of those. I'll walk you out to one of our trailers that has our bow stop on it. There's nothing real major, just stuff that has to be done. Okay, so the two red trailers, one has an angled bow stop on it. That's the left one. The right one is a bow stop like we are currently doing. Well, this one on the left, the shape of the boat is such that the rub rail is at an angle. If we put the support, we put the bunks on this straight up and down, they'll actually rub the varnish off the wood on the deck of this particular boat that goes to this trailer. So that's why those are at that angle. This is what we would do for you. This bow stop has a turnbuckle. So what happens is, you probably have experienced it, when you load your boat, you put your boat up to your bow stop. Of course, your trailer is at an angle on the boat ramp, and your boat is floating level. So when you pull out, invariably, you have a couple of inches between your bow stop and your boat, even though there was no distance between the two when the trailer was in the water. So you lean this guy forward when you're prior to loading. You load your boat, you bring it up to the bow stop. When you pull your boat out of the water, your boat will be a few inches behind the bow stop, and then you take your top link. It's actually a top link for a tractor. I call it a turnbuckle, but it's really what it is. It's a style of turnbuckle. They call it a top link. So then you can set this back against your boat. Instead of having to get your car up to about 5 or 10 mile an hour, slam the brakes on and slide your boat up to the bow stop. We always thought that was kind of hokey. So we came up with this idea. So anyway, I would suggest that we do this to the type of valve stop for your boat to protect your boat, because you have a very narrow target, and indications are that you've gotten off to one side of that target in the past. And while this is all fresh in our minds, let me show you what I'm talking about on your boat in there. Okay. So you see your target is pretty narrow. It's only, what's a 2x4 and another 2x4, about 8 inches wide. It also puts a lot of pressure on your cutwater. That's probably the most expensive piece of hardware on your boat. And our arms would put your pressure out here on the rub rail. We could probably use we could probably use your existing post, but if we did that, we can't do the turnbuckle because you don't have a swivel down here. You don't have a joint down here that can pivot. But anyway, I was looking at, a scratch right here that was probably done, or a scratch or a crack down here. Those were probably done in loading, more than likely. We've got some gouges back here as well in this area, so I suggest that we do that with your trailer, and we'll be working all that up. The loading guides, I would strongly consider doing something a little different with your loading guides, so that your loading guides are actually center your boat. The other thing we do is when we load the boat, we can put boat buckles on your trailer, because what we do is we take our strap and we go around the strut down here, go around the strut, and then back to the other side, and you don't have to be concerned about damaging the varnish on your decks while traveling, or varnishing your or damaging your stainless down here. That's going to beat against your stainless as you go down the road. So those are some suggestions I have for you, and I will work up an estimate based on those, and then you can let me know what you'd like to do. Unfortunately, your engine is going to need to be rebuilt. I think I sent you an email about that. We pulled the heads off. The machinist pulled the heads off, or head off. One head's flathead. And it's apparently not the valve. Some other piece of metal in there. Maybe it's the spark plug. But anyway, he just pulled it off to see, what the damage is. And we had, so if some valves, we probably have, we haven't pulled the bottom end off. We probably have a rod that's thrown, or a wrist pin, or something in that nature, because we have one piston that's not moving, we don't think, because we're not building any compression in that particular cylinder. So at that cylinder, we know we're going to either have to sleeve or hone that one cylinder, and then normally you like to have them all the same. So that would mean that we would need to bore all the other cylinders, but it's not really, I don't think we're going to be able to do a repair to your engine. It's going to be a rebuild for your engine. So anyhow, that's my quick and dirty assessment, and we'll do an estimate based on that and let you know what we think we need to do. Thank you.